Welcome back to Daily Driving of Cummins. This video is going to be about how my Cummins stranded me 500 miles from home and what I'm going to do about it. So let's get to it. So, I recently drove to Park City, Utah for work. And on the day I was supposed to leave, I got up and started my truck, and it sounded like this. So after paying about $1,500 to have Roadrunner pick my truck up and deliver it to me, I did some diagnosing. It turns out that thing right there left the check. And I'm a little disappointed because I bought the blue chip, I have a FAS, I have the best quality cat fuel filters and water separator, and the thing still died on me. And it's not an electrical failure, it's a burst diaphragm from what I can tell. So the timing was way off, and that's where the lawnmower go-kart sounding knocking was coming from. Luckily, I had another engine sitting around that had a VP44 on it, and I swapped the VP44s, and now it runs great. But there's one other problem that developed. The day I got to Park City, it was quite cold, and I'd driven the truck all day. And apparently, parking it at night, it cooled down in such a way that it dropped a valve seat. So check this out. And it's leaking like 70%, and you can hear it coming right out of that intake. So yeah, it's running on 5 cylinders and a half. That leaky cylinder is still getting around 140 psi in the compression check, but a couple of the other valves are leaking too, just not as much. And my compression is just all over the place. There's one cylinder that's at 390, which is what they should all be. There's a couple at 375, and one at like 360 and 345, and then 140. So I did the leak down test on all of them and determined that this head is just garbage. So I called up Power Driven Diesel and tried to order a head, and they couldn't sell me one. So on recommendations of a bunch of people on the interwebs, I called D&J Machine in Ohio, and they're sending me a stage 1 CNC ported head with 105-pound valve springs, and for as much as it costs, hopefully it will be much more bulletproof than this head, which I got done at a machine shop here in Montana, and a little disappointed in the quality, I think. Shouldn't be dropping valve seats. So once I get my new head and I get that installed, I'll be able to drive my truck again, but I'm never going to be able to drive it without worrying about this VP44 dying on me. I think I got about 60,000 miles out of that blue chip. I don't know. I didn't keep very good records, but this one, I bought the engine from a truck that was rolled, and I have no idea what the life on this one's like. The truck had a couple 100,000 miles on it, but the engine was supposedly recently rebuilt, and that's the engine that I ended up rebuilding that's in here now. And this is the engine that I originally put in, that I blew the head gasket in on the way home from my big road trip. And I and deciding that I am no longer going to keep a VP44 on this truck. So I had to make a choice, and not an easy choice. I think there's common rail options, but that would require a completely new engine. And I've got a lot invested in this engine, with the girdle and line boring and rebuilding it, having the crank and the rods balanced, and lots of billet, and I kind of want to keep this engine. So that leaves me with the option of going back to a P-pump, which the reason I switched from the P-pump to the VP44 was because the VP44 I could tune electronically and have dynamic timing, and that makes the daily drivability of it just way better. Like, it just has a way wider power band, and I don't want to give that up. And the P-pump's not going to give that to me. Neither would an old school rotary pump from a first gen. So I'm going for what's in this box. And I think I might be the first person ever to do this to a Cummins. So let's unbox it and I'll show you what I'm going to do. All right, let's unbox it. Let's get a razor blade. This will be my first time seeing what I actually got, so I'm kind of excited. I've never actually seen one of these in person before, and I've been wanting this one for a very long time, thinking it was something I was going to do someday. And there it is. That is an H pump. And if you're not familiar with an H pump, it's an inline injection pump like a P pump. It's made by Bosch. But instead of being mechanical and having the mechanical stuff back here for the throttle and the rotating assembly for the idle and whatnot, it's electronically controlled. So it's got solenoids in it that control the fuel rack travel, but it has a second one that actually adjusts the timing by up to as much as 40 degrees. I'm told it's more realistically going to be around 30, but a good variable amount of timing. So I should be able to have the exact same amount of control with this thing as I do with the VP44, but way more dependability. So gonna break this sucker down and clean it up and reseal it, and we're gonna get busy getting this put in the truck.